One of the greatest investments that you can make in your soil comes in the form of homemade compost. And I'm of the belief system that every home garden should be generating some amount of their own compost, preferably 100% of it, simply because I think it's possible. This is an expectation thing. You're gonna need to set some boundaries on your growing space in order to make that compost. When growing in a small space or when growing with large ambitions, carving out a compost zone can feel like a waste of space. But if you're gardening in such a way that reduces waste and seeks to close loops, wherever you can find them, the compost zone is sort of a catch-all for those open loops. And I'll explain. Anything that was once alive can be made into soil. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. We implement a lot of tools to drive our waste materials and yard debris toward becoming soil as quickly as possible, or at the very least, as effectively as possible. So for our weeds that we collect, we soak in water with a little pinch of leaf mold soil and make an all-purpose plant fertilizer. For our wood chips, we use those for pathways. For logs, we bury them for our hugelkultur mounds, or we burn them to make biochar. But for our food scraps, our crop residue, and the leaves that fall on our property, we make compost out of them. In our second personal garden, we had a small patch of flowers, small for us. It was about 100 square feet of growing space. And we had a single compost pile decomposing away at all times. This 9 square foot space made us all the compost that we needed for that garden and then some. For our third garden, we kept a 2-bay compost system and continuously ran compost heaps through it in order to generate enough compost for our larger garden. We also utilized a homemade soil factory setup that generated a bit of extra fertility. For the farm that we're starting now, we're devoting around 300 square feet worth of space to generating compost. This is a much more involved setup. We have our chickens process materials, shred them up, and then we'll be able to pull them out when we're ready to compost. We stockpile our food scraps in bokashi bins, and as a family with 3 kids, if you have kids, you know this, a lot of the food that they eat ends up on the ground. Bokashi lets us scoop up that food and turn it into compost. Now this chicken composting setup is a lot of space, but it's because we're gonna be trying to generate a lot of compost for the farm each year, about 14 cubic yards worth on the low end. Big investment, but hopefully very big returns. Point is, setting a limit on how big your growing space can be by how much soil you're able to generate on site might be a crucial consideration.